Hello everyone, and welcome back to the third part tutorial of the beginner guide to Maya. Now this time what we will do, as I said, we will introduce some of the tools we have at the left toolbar here, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about those, but as for now I do want to start with these. Okay, so here at the left toolbar, which is permanent kind of toolbar. It's not like those you can switch between them, but this will always be here as long as you want it to be placed here. This feature here, the arrow one, is the selection tool, which can easily accessed by pressing the Q button on your keyboard. So you can see I'm putting my mouse cursor over it and it says select tool, and from the right corner of this pop-out message you can see the Q, okay, as introduced as your hotkey. Now, not all with all of the feature it will tell you what the hotkeys are, but at least for those tools it will. So you can also click on this, film kind of icon here, and it will show you some short video on how to use it. Now, when most people use Maya or starting using Maya, accidentally most of them will press here and there, on some sort of keys on your keyboard, and that way they will activate or deactivate some of the default settings of your features. I mean, we have the move tool and the selection tool, and a very common thing that happens is that people switching the selection tool to a soft mode selection, and this is caused by pressing the B key, I think. So what I will do, I will double click on it. You can say I double click the selection tool, and here we have the soft selection. Okay, now the soft selection, basically what it says, it's whenever you're going to use an edit mode on your meshes, simply it will start and select your thing in soft selection method. Now I don't want to get into this too much, but I just will show you what happens when it's set to soft selection. I'm going to right click on my object and choose vertices. Okay, now by default, if it's not selected, I'm going to switch and select those. You can see all of them are yellowish, okay, all these selected vertices. But if I'm going to click on soft selection, what will happen, it will show you some kind of a hit points, like, I don't know, it's like showing you what is the fall off. Well, yeah, it's called fall off. Just most of the time, well, I'm not seeing it right now, but you can see there is a kind of a color palette that can show you which is the center or whatever of the vertices. It's like some kind of a heat meter that just showing you which vertices are much more affected by the movement that you're gonna do. So if I'm gonna switch to selection tool, I selected this one or this one. Well, I can't really see it. It's a little bit disturbing right now. I'm not sure what's happening. Let me try and switch to this. Maybe this will help me see better things. Well, it doesn't. I don't know. Never mind. Let's leave this. Anyway, this is just one of the mistakes that people does, and simply pressing, the B hotkey, and it turns it on. So you can turn it on with B key and turn it off. You can see it's turned off. So I'm going to switch and use right now a new of the tools we have, which is the move tool. We can use the lasso tool, by the way. You can switch to lasso tool, and what will happen is you can select things using this lasso tool, just like in Photoshop, but you can also right-click, choose vertices on this object, and simply select a bunch of vertices that way. Okay, very, very easy things. Again, each one of those tools, you can double-click on it, and it has its own tool settings, okay? So this one ain't got nothing to do with this one, okay? This one is just for it, and again, each one has its own. Now we have the paint selection tool, which is simply as it says, you can paint whatever you want to select. Now in this particular paint selection, what you can do, you can set it to select everything, even things that the camera doesn't see. Okay, and I'm not sure which is doing it right now, but well, yeah, I'm introducing things that sometimes I forgot that I'm not that using them, but anyway, just be aware that you can do this. So right now, whatever the camera sees, it's just paint selecting it. And I will try to do this there. You can see that nothing here has been selected. So by default, it's set correctly, and whatever you see, you can paint. Now, for the brush selection tool, you can also hold down the B key, and you will see that my mouse cursor is switching from brush into those two arrows. So whenever I put my mouse cursor over the object, you can hold down the B and left click, hold and drag right to the left, right or left, to increase or decrease your brush size. Okay, so this is very, very important for you to know how to set your brush size, and the hotkeys are very much helpful in this case. Okay, so B, hold down the B, and left mouse click, hold and drag. Both of them at the same time are pressed down, and you can set your brush size. All right, so let's move on to the move tool. We have the move tool. I'm going to press F8. And by the way, the F8 key is very, very important for you to understand that the F8 key is what's switching you from an object mode and into edit mode and back to object mode. Now, object mode, it's whenever your object has green wireframes, okay? And whenever it's in bluish kind of wireframes, that means that your object is still on edit mode. Okay. Now you can have two objects at the same time with you know, in this mode. So you can see right now both of them are in edit mode. And if you want to switch back to object mode, then you will press F8 once or twice and make it green or white. Now the reason that this is white wireframes and this is green is just to tell you that one of those objects has been selected first, and then the second one is on green wireframes. So if you're gonna unselect by simply click on the background, I'm selecting this, shift selecting this, you can see that this one was the first selection, so therefore this is remained white wireframes and this is with green wireframes. Anyway, move tool, it's for moving things around, so you can simply use the axis like so and move your things in the XYZ axis. Okay, and as for the hotkeys, I mean, the selection tool, move tool, rotation tool, and the scale tool are all of those hotkeys are pretty much at the same place. So the Q, W, E, R are meant for the main feature, which is selecting, moving, rotating, and scaling. Q, W, E, R, okay, with the same order. Q, W, E, and R. So you can switch to selection, to move tool with hitting the W key, and selection tool with the Q key. And it's very, very important that you will understand that in any case inside Maya, whenever you're working, switching to selection tool, this is the most, it's like something like that it's hidden while I'm working or any other people working. It's always good to switch back to selection tool in order to snap out of other feature that currently you're working with. I will explain this further later whenever I will have the chance or needed to switch back to selection tool. You will see what I mean. Anyway, back to those tools, we have the rotation tool, as it says, rotating things, so you can rotate your object in any of the axes. You can grab it on the middle and simply rotate it as you like, I mean on any direction at the same time. And you have the scale tool, which you can scale it with any of those axes, like so, or if you want to do it uniformly, means that it will grow up or shrink down in any of the axis direction, it will do at the same time. Okay, so uniformly. Anyway, goes. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much for the move tool. I do for any of those tools, the scale tool, rotation tool, and move tool. Q, W, E, R, as I said, these are those four. Okay, now one more thing before I wrap this part. There is this thing, whenever you want to use Maya and you want to use those tools, you have the option to scale up or scale down those handles here. Okay, we have I know that we have a little bit more things here, like this one or this one or this one, or the square in the middle, which is really important. You can see I can hold and drag it and take it again to wherever I want using all of those three axes. But right now, I only care about the handles. So those of you who have a hard time to obtain those handles, what you can do, you can use the minus and plus keys on your keyboard in order to scale them up or scale them down. It won't affect any of the things. Those things cannot be rendered as you can see them on the work area. So you can scale them as far as it's convenient for you. And it will remain like this as long as you won't reset your settings. And you can do this for each one of those. So if this is the scale that is convenient for you for the move tool, you can switch to scale tool and scale this down, and this will remain scale like that. But that one, well, I have some problems, but at the last, I don't know, some other versions, it should have memorized for each tool what's the scale you prefer for it. I don't know. Anyway, maybe it's something got to do with my own version, which is not updated right now. So hopefully they fixed it. Anyway, if it's not if you don't have this problem, then that's great. So again, plus and minus to scale up or down the scale of the manipulators, and that way it will make your life much more easier to obtain things and work with them. Okay, so this is it for this part. Thank you again for watching, and at the next part we will talk a little bit about my own kind of setup whenever I start modeling, and this will help you because this is one of the things that I almost do every time that I'm starting with any new tutorial. So see you at the next part. Bye bye.